Imagine ruling an empire that stretched from the rainy hills of Britain to the scorching deserts of Egypt. An empire with over 60 million people, thousands of cities, hundreds of languages, and millions of square kilometers to defend. Sounds impressive, until you realize every problem eventually lands on your desk: a rebellion in Britain, an invasion in Syria, pirates in the Mediterranean, a civil war in Italy, all at the same time. Rome wasn't collapsing because it was weak, it was collapsing because it had become too successful. So why did the Roman Empire split into two? Let's find out. The greatest empire on earth. By the 2nd century AD, Rome was the greatest power the world had ever seen. At its greatest extent under Emperor Trajan, the empire stretched across Europe, North Africa, and the Middle East. The Mediterranean had become so dominated by Rome that they proudly called it our sea. Merchants traveled safely, roads connected distant provinces, taxes poured into the treasury. The Roman army guarded thousands of kilometers of frontier. For generations, everything seemed to work. But underneath the surface, problems were growing. An empire too big to rule. The Roman Empire wasn't just large, it was unbelievably difficult to govern. Messages traveled only as fast as a horse could run. If an invasion happened on the Rhine frontier, the emperor might not hear about it for weeks. Sending reinforcements could take even longer. Meanwhile, another crisis could appear on the opposite side of the empire. Every decision depended on one person, the emperor. As Rome expanded, that system became less practical. The crisis of the 3rd century. Then disaster struck. Beginning in 235 AD, Rome entered one of the darkest periods in its history. Emperors were overthrown one after another. Some ruled for only months before being assassinated. Civil wars broke out repeatedly. Foreign enemies attacked from nearly every direction. The economy spiraled into inflation. Even parts of the empire temporarily broke away. For decades, Rome came dangerously close to disappearing. It needed dramatic reform. Diocletian's bold plan. In 284 AD, Emperor Diocletian came to power. He realized one emperor couldn't effectively govern such a massive empire, so he created an entirely new system. Instead of one ruler, there would be 4. This system became known as the Tetrarchy: 2 senior emperors, 2 junior emperors, each ruled a different region. Each could respond quickly to local threats. It wasn't a permanent split. Officially, there was still only one Roman Empire. Diocletian had divided the administration, not the empire itself. For a while, it worked. Constantine reunites Rome. After years of power struggles, one man emerged victorious: Constantine the Great. He defeated his rivals, reunited the empire, and founded a magnificent new capital, Constantinople. Located between Europe and Asia, it was perfectly positioned for trade and defense. At the time, few realized this city would eventually become the heart of the surviving Roman Empire. Theodosius makes the final division. Nearly a century later, another emperor ruled the entire empire. His name was Theodosius I. He would become the last man ever to govern all of Rome alone. When Theodosius died in 395 AD, he divided the empire between his 2 sons. Arcadius received the east, Honorius received the west. Unlike previous divisions, this one never ended. The empire would never again have a single ruler. From this moment onward, the Eastern and Western Roman empires followed different paths.